Today's episode is brought to you by The Black Cabinet by Jill Watts. It's the Mocha Girls Read National Book Club's June Book of the Month. Visit their website and join in today. Masterfully researched and dramatically told, The Black Cabinet brings to life a forgotten generation of leaders who fought for post-Reconstruction racial discrimination and whose work served as a bridge that civil rights activists traveled to achieve for the victories of the 1950s and 60s. The Black Cabinet is a dramatic, full-scale examination of a forgotten moment that speaks directly to our own. The Black Cabinet is available now in hardcover, ebook, and audiobook from your favorite bookseller. Learn more by visiting mochagirlsread.com. Welcome, readers. Stay tuned for my spoiler-free review of The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. But first, I want to share something with you. This is my first opportunity to share on my podcast some of the thoughts I've been having regarding our current climate in America and around the world. Black Lives Matter. This is so important and well overdue. It's so important that it's reached around the world. Something that started in Minneapolis has gone around the world, and it is starting to make big changes. And I want to talk a little about that. The racism that Black people face every day is not new. It's just that George Floyd's situation has reignited everyone's feelings about the situation and brought it to the front again. For years and years and years, decades, centuries, we've been dealing with racism. It's systemic. This country was built on racism, and, you don't hear about it every day. It always exists. And it's long past time that we address what's going on once and for all. Hopefully, these peaceful protests and everyone speaking out and backing the Black community will finally make some serious changes in government, in the police forces, and just in the laws and how police are trained and how they are held accountable for their actions. It's time for everyone to come together and stop the injustice that Black people endure on a daily basis, especially police brutality. It's time for us as a Black community to speak with our money and our buying power, speak with our voices and our actions, speak with our vote. No matter what race you are, you can support the Black community and basic human rights by doing those things as well. I've been singled out as the only Black person in a group and asked what I'm feeling about what's going on right now. I've been asked, what can others do? Well, I decided to share those resources with everyone. It's not my place or my job to teach you, but I am happy to show you where you can get that information if you want to do your part in bringing racism to an end. Below in the show notes, I have links to some helpful curated book lists that include titles about systemic racism, anti-racism, and other topics that are important to learn about in this fight. Right now, a lot of these books may be in high demand in libraries and sold out in a physical copy, but you can always purchase the ebook and audiobook versions. I've also linked some YouTube videos that explain what's going on and why it's important. The fact that a lot of these books are sold out is showing how serious people are about learning and listening. It's not enough to just not be racist. You have to be anti-racist. Doing what's right isn't always easy, but it's the only way through this. For the first time ever, large corporations, influencers with huge audiences, friends, neighbors, coworkers, those who are usually silent are speaking out in support of Black Lives Matter. Now is the time for growth and change. Make a difference in your community. Stand with me. Black Lives Matter. Welcome to the Shelf Addiction Podcast, and thank you for streaming or downloading today's Shelf Byte episode. If you are new here, Shelf Bytes features spoiler-free book and audiobook reviews in just a few minutes. I am your host, Tamara Ford. If you'd like to chat with me about the book reviewed in this episode, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Shelf Addiction. In addition, don't forget that you can always find me in both our Facebook group, Shelf Addiction Official, or on the Patreon page. Speaking of Patreon, thank you to all of our new members. Your support means so much. We've gotten a few more this past week, and I'm so excited that you've joined us. If you'd like to show your support for the show, please consider becoming a Shelf Addiction Patreon subscriber. You'll gain access to exclusive Patreon-only content, including monthly live streams, uncut video of podcast recordings, stickers, t-shirts, and more depending on your subscription level. Join us now by clicking the link in the show notes or go to shelfaddiction.com and click the Support Us tab. Help us make even more bookish content for your ears. If you'd like to show your support in a non-monetary way, please share this episode with bookish friends or on your favorite social media space. Let's jump into it. I thought this title would be appropriate to review because this has been on my TBR shelf for a very, very long time, literally sitting on my shelf. I've even lent the title out a few times, and each time I've gotten it back, I've heard such great things. It was long past the time that I'd read it. The fact that it's one of my book club reads also gave me that little push to get it done. Plus, I thought it was perfect timing to review this title as it's June, which is Pride Month. Happy Pride Month, everybody. For those of you that have no clue what this book is about, I'm going to start with the Goodreads synopsis for The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Aging and reclusive Hollywood movie icon Evelyn Hugo is finally ready to tell the truth about her glamorous and scandalous life. When she chooses unknown magazine reporter Monique Grant for the job, no one in the journalism community is more astounded than Monique herself. Why her? Why now? Monique is not exactly on top of the world. Her husband David has left her, and her career has stagnated. Regardless of why Evelyn has chosen her to write her biography, Monique is determined to use this opportunity to jumpstart her career. Summoned to Evelyn's Upper East Side apartment, Monique listens as Evelyn unfurls her story, from making her way to Los Angeles in the 1950s, to her decision to leave show business in the late 80s, and of course, the 7 husbands along the way. As Evelyn's life unfolds, revealing a ruthless ambition, an unexpected friendship, and a great forbidden love, Monique begins to feel a very real connection to the actress. But as Evelyn's story catches up with the present, it becomes clear that her life intersects with Monique's own in a tragic and irreversible way. Okay, y'all, let's start with the characters. I really liked Evelyn. She is complex, she's smart, she's witty, mouthy, all the things that I enjoy reading for a leading lady. She's also rude and blunt and ruthless. Evelyn is one of those characters you can't help but like, even though she's done some questionable things in the name of her career and protecting her family. But that's also why I found Monique's character relatable as well. She had the same feeling about Evelyn as I do. As she learns more about her, she discovers things that change her viewpoint. Both Monique and Evelyn are a colorful set of characters, both in personality and description. Their characters play off of each other very well, and makes the story even more endearing. I appreciate that Monique is a biracial woman and Evelyn is a Cuban American. Although she pretty much passes as white by changing her last name, dyeing her hair blonde, she uses that to her advantage in Hollywood, and I'm not mad at it at all. I was happy to see women of color leading the story. Beyond Evelyn and Monique, there were so many memorable characters in this story. It almost felt like these were real people that I could actually Google and find photos and stories of. The plot was engaging and well-paced. This was a mix of historical fiction and contemporary fiction that was blended very well. I enjoyed how Taylor Jenkins Reid told the history of Evelyn using the vehicle of memories in chronological order, sliding in and out of the past smoothly without any confusion. It was well written and very enjoyable. I was also very interested to see what this horrible thing was that Evelyn did that we kept getting teased with throughout the story. So of course I was flying through these pages. I just had to know, and let me tell you, it's a doozy. It's not every day you come across someone that has 7 husbands. But in this situation, it was more about why she had those husbands and what was going on in her life that motivated her to marry so many times. So this is well beyond just a story of someone that couldn't find the right person or just couldn't settle down. It's so much deeper than that. This story touches themes of sexuality, true love, family, and more. There are also a few trigger warnings to be aware of: domestic abuse, homophobia, biphobia, racism, abortion, and suicide. I always have to give the trigger warnings because, I want you to know what you're getting into. If you haven't yet picked up this book, you absolutely should. I've heard great things about the audio version as well. I see it has 2 narrators. So if you guys are about the audiobook life, definitely give that a chance. And if you've read or listened to the audiobook, please let me know if it's absolutely fabulous, like what I've heard. This was my first time reading Taylor Jenkins Reid, and it won't be my last. I rate The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo 4 out of 5. I recommend this book for those that enjoy stories with complex characters and lots of drama. It would also be a great choice for book club. I can easily see lots of free-flowing conversation around this title. Thanks for tuning in today. I look forward to speaking to you in the next episode. And until then, happy reading. Take care, everyone. If you enjoyed today's book chat episode and would like to show your support, there are a few things you can do. Head on over to Apple Podcasts and leave a positive 5-star review. You can follow me on Twitter at Shelf Addiction. Most importantly, you can share this podcast with friends and family that enjoy all things bookish, including author interviews. Thank you for listening, and until next time, happy reading.